Fernando, may you kindly tell us about what the next speech is all about?
Certainly. The next pathway is engaging humor, and the purpose of the speech is for the speaker to determine their style of humor and to apply it in a speech that centers around a central or a global or a primary message. The member completing this project is to develop their ability as a humorous speaker and to better understand their own sense of humor. The time for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and the core idea is DTM wide, path to DTM.
I wish to call to stage Lynnette Vermaak, path to DTM, Lynnette Vermaak.
Toastmasters is very fond of the alphabet soup. You get SADs and DTMs, and SADs do make you sad because they're semi-annual dues and you have to pay them. So what is DTM? DTM stands for Distinguished Toastmaster. What is a Distinguished Toastmaster? A Toastmaster who has been a Toastmaster for a certain period of time, and the length of time differs because it depends on how involved you are and how often you speak and how often you put your hand up and say, I'll do it, pick me, because a lot of the stuff, especially in level 4 and level 5, involves participating in projects or getting teams together to deliver a project, a large project, like a speech contest, or an even larger project, like club officer training when you do it in person, or an even larger project like the conference. And sometimes the people get it right, and as Nana will tell you, maybe sometimes they don't get it right. But anyhow, so becoming a distinguished Toastmaster is the pinnacle of your Toastmasters career. You start in Toastmasters, and I have this handout which I will send up on the phone to everybody who's on the membership group. And if you're not a Toastmasters member and you would like it, maybe it's a bit premature, but ask me and I will send it out to you as well. So this pictogram tells you where you start and what you need to do in between in order to become a DTM, a Distinguished Toastmaster. So I'm going to go through this very briefly because it's quite involved. So you start in Toastmasters and now in Pathways, not in the legacy system where I got my first DTM and so did Nando, but now, enjoy. And you have to complete 2 paths. But you don't have to complete 2 paths before you do the next stuff. So you start and you work on your first path. And by the time you're at level 2 or level 3 in your first path, you should understand what your plan is to get here. Because if you don't have a plan, and you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So my recommendation to people is once you have completed level 3, you buy your second path. Please note, you buy your second path. It doesn't cost you $20 currently. Your first path, you get when you join Toastmasters. So then you begin, because the projects in level 4 and level 5 are more involved and take longer to do, you start another path on level 1 and level 2. And what you also need to do, once you've done your speaking, not once you've done your speaking, in your journey, you need to become a member of the club executive. So traditionally, when I started, you usually started at sergeant, then you moved to secretary, Vice President Public Relations, VPP, more alpha. And then you move to Vice President Membership, Vice President Education, and President. And once you've been through all of that, you thought you were quite clever, and quite frankly, you probably did know how to speak. You then, to move on towards your DTM, you need to have a role, like what do they call it? You need to be in club leadership. And after club leadership, you need to be in district leadership. So the easiest route to DTM once you finished Club Exco is to be an area director. Now there's a number of people in our club who have been area directors. And what you do then is you the mother hen, and you have 4 or 5 or maybe 6 other clubs that you're looking after. It's a challenge, but it's a worthwhile challenge, and it grows your leadership skills. You can also move from area director, if you choose to district director. Then you have 4 or 5 area directors with their chickens, and you're looking after them. And beyond that, you move into cabinet. Now, cabinet structure is very similar to a club extra. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of that, but just put in your head that you need to become an area director on your way to becoming a DTM. You also, sometime in this path, and try and fit these things in, because you can do this entire thing in 2 years. From starting to becoming DTM, I've seen it done. You've got to know a little bit about what you're doing, but it can be done. Yes, we want to go there. So you do your paths, you do your leadership projects, you go through club leadership, you do your district leadership. Somewhere in the course of that time period, you need to assist in the establishment of a new club, or what we call chartering a new club. Now, when you charter a new club, there's 4 people who get credit from it. 2 people who find all the members for the club. They call the club sponsors. It doesn't come out of their pocket. They find the people who get put together. And then 2 people who are club mentors. So what they do is, once this club is chartered, they work with the club extra for a year until they are running comfortably and sustainably. There's a lot of other information around that, which Linda and I and Christine and a few other people can give you information about, but that's what you do. Also in this path, you have to be involved. In fact, now you have to run a speechcraft. Running a speechcraft also means getting the people together, and now because speechcraft is online, you have to count bundles of 5. So if you're going to run a speechcraft is where you teach adults from businesses, other corporations, how to speak. I didn't see the Amber. But anyhow, how to speak, and technically the best return for investment, because it does take a lot of your time, is to have 20 people and to have 4 people assisting you. And Speechcraft now, for the people who are participating, is also an online program. It's 6 weeks. Then you have graduation, where everybody delivers their final speech. And we can also do youth leadership. You can get credit for doing youth leadership. It's the same system. It's just run for schools. And then you've served as a club officer, you've served as a club sponsor, you've done either speechcraft or youth leadership, and you have then also been a club mentor. And if you can't be a club mentor, and I told you where it fits in, you can be a club coach. A club coach is somebody who assists a coach in a club that exists, but it has fallen below charter strength, and it has fallen very far down, so there's less than 12 people in that club, and then you coach them back up to strength. Talk to me, I've got lots more information. Share this on the group WhatsApp. Madam Toastmaster. How does it
please have the timers report?
Oh, I don't know what to. I was getting quite excited of making up time because the speech was 5:28, and then Lynnette went to 8:30, and she was supposed to be 5:07.
Yaku, may I please have the grammarian's report?
Somebody of Lynnette's experience, you can expect a few grammar mistakes, and so we got a few grammar mistakes, nothing that I could record, no filler words.
And I forgot the word.
And-
Seize the opportunity. Didn't seize the opportunity.
So this,
Thank you. Alright, moving over to our evaluator. So, Nando will be evaluating Lynnette. Right, yes. Nando, are you ready for us?
I am.
Going on to stage Fernando Azevedo for the formal evaluation of Lynnette's speech.
Sorry. Mesdames, Messieurs, Madame, je suis entre deux, de Lynnette.
Can't
Right.
understand.
Yes. Lynnette, thank you very much for the speech that you prepared and for explaining everything as clearly and as beautifully as you always do, and taking us through the wonderful bureaucracy that is getting your DTM. I love it. Anyway, so those are the things that I think that you did really well. You seized the opportunity now to look at the alphabet soup of Toastmasters and poking fun at it, and poking fun at how much time it takes, and how every little thing has its own jargon. Every sector has its own jargon, and that's things that you can do. Something that you can work on regarding finding humor in even a serious topic is a little bit more exaggeration and a little more animation. Because when you and I speak personally, especially about this topic, and you actually, when the coaching thing came in, you came to us like, Nando, guess what? Your DTM's going to wait a little longer. And I went, oh, come on. You said, yeah. And you went, yes. And if you brought that into your speech, it would be so much more effective as a humorous tool. And humor is an excellent way to get people to remember a point. And that's something that I'd like you to work on, is exaggeration and animation. So exaggeration of expression and animation of the gestures. To challenge yourself, and I don't want you to work on this yet until you've gotten the second problem. To challenge yourself, in drama we are always taught about 1-2 punchline. Alright? So 1-2 punchline is essentially humor works in threes. So you build up, 1, build up, 2, and then what you want the audience to remember, you hit in a punchline format. So you actually try to either get a laugh or you get a ooh. I usually get the ooh, you shouldn't have said. All right, so it's something that I'd like you to try to get to, but not yet up until you get your timing right and your exaggerations. Madam Toastmaster.